for being here. I just wanted to say that this is wonderful and just talk a little bit about why the meeting was canceled and what we can continue to do to support Morley Field staying an athletic recreational field.
Like it's supposed to be.
Yes. So the meeting tonight was to discuss a brownfield targeted application that the city of Pawtucket applied to through the Rhode Island DEM to the EPA. So essentially Pawtucket was trying to get a portion of Morley Field remediated. However, Morley Field is an entire 5-acre field.
That's right.
So the EPA found out that the city was trying to split the field, and they told DEM that it was not okay for the meeting to proceed, that the application needs to be filled out properly by the city of Pawtucket when it's time to remediate the entire field. So, what can we do next to keep the pressure on? Because basically we have resources available to us at the EPA, National Park Services, the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management, and the city of Pawtucket. So there's all these people that care at all these different levels. So it's a matter of making the right connections and sharing information so that we can have soccer games and play and have fun Qigong classes at Morley Field. So right now, we are going to organize putting pressure on the DEM so that they enforce the Land Water Conservation Fund. Presently, the city of Pawtucket is in violation because they have denied public access to the field since June 2022. And they also sold a 1/4 acre of Morley Field in 2017.
Ooh.
We see you! Exactly.
$1,000.
So they are responsible for that 1/4 acre that got sold. They need to replace it and do something with the replacement of a 1/4 acre. So that has to happen. And they need to open Morley Field.
Yes.
Exactly. So the DEM is responsible. They have an obligation as stewards of the Land Water Conservation Fund to enforce the city of Pawtucket to take immediate corrective action. So we need to support DEM to get them to take the right action, to have the city to take the right action, to make this an amazing recreational area. And the other thing that we can be doing as a community is supporting the city to apply for an outdoor recreation grant. The funding opens this fall so that there can be public access to the Mashassuck River.
Yes.
And that the existing recreational trail between Mashassuck Street and Greenville Street can be opened and accessible.
Yes.
So we can help with our public support to encourage the city of Pawtucket to apply for an outdoor recreation grant that will allow for public access to the recreational trails at the Moshastic River.
Who's in charge of that?
Great question. So these are all wonderful things. How does this happen? How do we organize? If you're not on our listserv, please come give me your email address. And if you are on our listserv, we will be sending out clear action steps as to what emails we can send, what people we need to talk to, what letters, what pizza parties we can have. Like, it's all coming. Like, we're in this together, y'all.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
on the phone tirelessly too,
Yes,
calling
yes,
all
yes.
people. So thank you. Woman sent a super powerful letter to DEM that you all should read. It's in the email.
Yeah.
So it's really been a great effort.
just for those who first time coming here, what organization are you representing, and talk to us about that, and how, and you're saying, yeah, and I think that's important, right?
Hey, no, she's really been awesome, and this is not something that's just me or anybody. It's the team Save Morley Field, which includes Anastasia, Jennifer Stewart, Sherry Cruz, Ben Evans, Molly Henry, Forrest, of course.
Greg back there.
Greg, yeah, he's the. If anybody doesn't know Greg, he's the steward, right? So he's the Moshastic River steward.
Yeah, we need to know. That's important.
And also community folks, probably too many to name. Lisa Bede's been for the last few weeks have been out, just out of this world.
Clovis, can I say something?
Yeah.
So there's a lot being said here. Most of you don't know me, but I think it's important that something is said about recreational and what's going on here in this community. Around 12 years ago.
Come here. Yeah, all right. Just let me just.
First of all, my name is Lucian Tavares.
He grew up right down the street here.
I'm a stakeholder here because my heart and soul is for Pawtucket. I grew up in Pawtucket. I bought my first home in Pawtucket. I went to the school system in Pawtucket. And I don't live.
Played football for the
Played football,
Woodlawn Cowboys in Morley.
I played recreational sports, and for 17 years there was a drought in this side of the city. And the drought was there was no recreational sport. So this is important to know. Since you're not playing soccer, what happened here is an organization that myself and my cousin started 12 years ago. The Oakwood Raiders is a youth and athletic mentor association through football, and there's some soccer. But we started that because there was a void. Because we grew up right here on West Avenue. I had the opportunity and privilege of playing for the Woodlawn Cowboys and Woodlawn Little League. For 17 years, there was a drought. And these kids didn't have anything. They were fragmented. Some of them were going to Central Falls to play recreational ball, to Providence, all over the place. And those who could not afford it, we didn't have anything. And there was a lot of kids hanging out doing nothing. And we know when the kids have nothing to do, they're going to get in trouble. We found crime rising. So what we said is we're going to bring it back after a 17-year drought. I fought with the city. To get a permit. Finally got a permit. We did a lot of this on our own. We got other people who cared. We started an organization. This organization was playing there until 2022. So from 2011 to 2022, we were there. So it's not like it was abandoned. It's not like it wasn't being used. It's not like it wasn't productive. It was. And I'm more concerned. You're telling me all this time there was contamination. I coached there for 9 years. I had kids. I had my own son play there. So you're telling me you didn't disclose this information, but now conveniently you're going to bring this up? So there's a lot of concerns here, but understand there's an organization of kids from this area that's being displaced. So yes, this is for future green space usage, but today kids are being displaced, and that's a tragedy, and I want everyone to know that, okay?
Thank you. Great, Lucian. Thank you.
Would I be able to say a couple of things?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I just wanted to share that for anyone interested, there's also a relevant event at the Wild Place, which is at 110 Bonanza Way in Providence, Rhode Island. Sunrise, Rhode Island is running an event to try and clean up this stream that goes through the cemetery, the north burial ground. because the stream has been clogged a lot with dead trees and plastic cups and garbage, and it would be really interesting if a lot of the people here who care about environmental work would also be able to show up for that. And it's being run by Sunrise Rhode Island, September 3rd, which is a Sunday, at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's at 110 Bonanza Way. And then also, I wanted to share that there are a few lawmakers here who have a lot of impact on the environment and on Save Morley Field. And I just wanted to say that I hope that you guys are reaching out to the local indigenous tribes and to the local indigenous people in terms of your environmental policy, because that's what matters, not just trying to portray yourself as an environmentalist hero, but actually putting in the work and actually contacting the tribes and doing what's right for restoring our natural lands. So yeah, I just wanted to say those two things.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate everybody coming here. Really, it means a great deal to have the community support, and with everything we do. It's been hard. We've been fighting them for well over a year now, right from the start. But it looks like things are starting to move in the right direction. So thank you all very much. And I also want to thank Aaron Rudenberg here, who's running for the congressional seat first to replace David Cicilline. He's probably the only person running for the congressional seat. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, who have shown any interest in our efforts trying to save this field. I mean, this is a quintessential example of environmental injustice, what they've been doing here. So part of the things we've discovered, which is included in the letter that I sent to Around DEM, because Terry Gray, the director for Around DEM, was very nice to meet with us twice in the fall and discuss our concerns, and he wanted us to send a letter explaining things and outlining certain things that we wanted to have corrected. So it took a little bit of time, but it actually worked out, because we found out that not only did they sell a quarter-acre of Morley Field, they also Newell Avenue Park, which is also in this district for the kids. What they did was totally dismantle it and left it like they had a rock. And that's also a protected LWCF site, and they're not supposed to do that. And let me see.
You also said that part of McCoy Stadium.
Yeah, what was called McCoy Annex. It had two fields over there, recreational fields. What they did was just turn them into parking lots, just like that.
Quick question for you. So one of the comments that was made, I forgot your name, I'm sorry.
My name is Anastasia.
Anastasia. Leo, nice to meet you. So one of the comments that you had made and that it keeps emphasizing in terms of helping the city to apply for these grants, they don't have a grant writer, and it seems like no interest in terms of actually repairing and restoring the parks for our community. So in what other ways do you think folks can help in pushing the city to do what's right? If what you're saying is that they haven't taken the initiative to do so. So what can we do as a community together to ensure that they actually do what's right?
Yeah, so the state senators, Sheldon Whitehouse and Jack Reed, would be instrumental, along with the reps, to be able to get federal grants and such. But Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management, also has various grants that's funded through the state and the federal government. So it's not a question of lack of money why Morley Field sits as it does. It's just they wanted to get rid of it, so a private interest can go over there and bury all those toxic materials that's just sitting at the site right now. That's why they haven't moved it, because this is what they're hoping they get Morley Field to bury all that crap and pave it over. So that's
But
the
they're
situation.
not applying for it. If they're not actively applying for it, how are we going to get those funds? So how do we push the city?
That's a great question.
Well,
And what I have found is caring makes a big difference. So I'm just a citizen, I'm an artist, and I happen to care about these things. So I've just been making phone calls, sending emails, asking questions, meeting great people along the way that also care. So that's just how things are happening. So I'd love to talk with you more about what your ideas are on how we can, as a community, inspire people.
Who can everyone call at the city? In terms of,
Exactly. Yeah.
What are the numbers? What are the emails? So that's what I'm getting at in terms of rather than leaving here before we leave here, like what are the emails? What are the phone numbers that every single person can call to make sure that this happens?
Well, if I may, Anastasia just said before you leave, please give her your
There's an
name,
email list going
contact
around,
information.
and we'll send that out.
Because all of that stuff will be provided once we have a sense to kind of assess, because we are at a new stage here right now. It looks like we're moving in the right direction, but we need to reassess and figure out what's the best way to move forward.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
This is my first time attending this event, and I'm probably going to speak something you already spoke of, addressed. What has been done to talk with the community, residents? Like, I'm talking about, so this area, we know there's a lot of Cape Verdeans here. How we approach them, a way equitable. So equitable means using their own language. We are a lot of Latino in this community. What is being done to hear the residents? I live in Pawtucket. I don't live in this neighborhood. However, I'm always here. We do a lot of events here, but it is the first time I'm hearing this. One thing in my job, what I do, we do a lot of sending letters, which is great. Thank you. I hope they get mine. However, a lot of time this information, even for English speaker, it comes at the high registered. How we're doing to make sure people are not bombarded with a lot of information or just dismissing them because, oh, this is too much. I don't have time to read this, to catch their attention, but also at the resident levels. Because I'm a big ambassador of sharing powers, not just, but also if we share with the community, the ones that lives here, to know kids that played here, my husband played here, but he never heard it. When I told him come to this meeting, it's like, what's going on over there? So what we're doing to make sure all the community members getting this information so they can join the fight as well.
Yeah. So just to answer that, so we have James here from. Sorry, it's a great question. Yeah, I'm sorry. So James is the vice president of the CACD, the Cape Verdean American.
And Anita's on the board.
Yeah, she's on the board. So there you go. So you guys are supposed to be instrumental here.
So
President of Rhode Island Cape Verdean.
what Anita's actually, I think, volunteering for is a translation campaign, which I think that would be a great idea. We've done some work in that regard here and there. We try as a community center and a nonprofit to stay apolitical. So we're bounded by the 501c3 rules regarding that. But something like this is not a political conversation. It's an important decision that helps the community. So we will speak as a board, and we can work on a translation campaign. And I think she hit the nail on the head that if you can put things in language and spread it, and I want to say, we didn't coordinate. Our executive director is on her way here. She's running a little behind. I didn't coordinate with Anita, and Emilka's on our board as well. We just spread it informally through our chat, and we'll start getting, And so Clovis sent me the note, and I sent it through our chat, and we're starting to get representation. So I think that's a key piece. You have to mobilize the local community members, and you have to do that in a way that they understand. So we'll sit down and talk about that. And I think flyers that are prepared in Cape Verdean Creole and Spanish will go a long way. We can help with the translation.
Thanks.
Both said that part of it, one third has been sold of the land.
None of it's been sold.
No,
A
that's
quarter acre.
A quarter acre.
Previously in 2017.
Is that lost, or do we get it back?
No, we are looking to regain it because it's still there. It was sold to another entity who wanted to take microfiber that's sitting there and I guess turn it into something else, and that never worked out. But as part of that, they sold that quarter acre to them, and the new owners right now inherited that parcel. But as far as we're concerned, the city never had an authority to sell that property, and it should revert back. I mean,
That's what we're concentrating on. The fact that did the city have authority or not to sell it? That's what we can hold on to. Is that it? Yes. That is at least part. Do we have legal documentation on this? Yes. Oh yeah.
So if you guys leave your stuff with Anastasia and join the listserv, the letter that I sent along with documents supporting everything we're suggesting here is on that listserv, and you can read it on your leisure.
Did everyone get a chance to sign in who wants to?
Can I just... Greg, I'd like Greg to say a few things about the Moshassuck while we're here. For people who don't know, he's the Moshassuck River steward.
Finishing little piece of stuff. Anyway, Friends of the Moshassuck has been advocating for the Moshassuck River since 1997. The Moshassuck River has always needed friends. It was one of the oldest industrial rivers in the universe. Literally. I mean, there were mills on it in 1675, and maybe even before. So it's always been industrial. It had 100 mills in its 10 miles at some point. So it is among the filthiest rivers in America. And it is cleaner now than it has been in years, but it is still a place where you get combined sewer overflows. So it's really not one you want to go near very much. Not much lives in the lower Moshassuck. The upper Moshassuck is a nice place, but the lower Moshassuck is pretty dirty. Though,
We can't hear you.
Oh, and the Morley Field area is actually the dirtiest because it's right next to the combined sewer overflow. So raw sewage flows into the Moshassuck just above the park every time you get a big rainstorm. But they're fixing that. The combined sewer overflow project that has cost us $1 billion and has been going for 25 years is about to connect that pipe up and take all the sewage that's going into the Moshassuck River and send it to the sewage treatment plant. So the Moshassuck River, right next to Morley Field, is going to be much cleaner in the near future. It's going to take a couple more years before they finish that tunnel, but they're building it now. I know where the other end is.
Greg, is that what is the NBC?
Yes.
Okay, that's right near.
On the East Providence side, they've got this giant mound that they've been
She
digging.
was talking about an Narragansett Bay.
The one perpendicular to Moshassuck Street.
Yeah, it's going to go. The one that's right there at Moshassuck and Eston,
Yeah.
that is going to be diverted to the sewage treatment plant.
Okay.
And so we've got that opportunity for, the Moshassuck to be cleaner. Clearly, we are going to refurbish this park that is next to it. Morley Field is going to be a refurbished park. There is no doubt about that. And it happens that the city owns a right-of-way, basically a paper street right to the river. And it's open, not really, they don't clear it, but it's open. It could go right to the river. It's a good public access. The Moshassuck River has no public access at all, and it runs the entire length of Pawtucket. And that entire length of Pawtucket, the only public place that you can get to the river is right there by Morley Field. What a place. You're going to have your athletic field. You're going to refurbish that. You could take a little corner of it and kind of remind people about the importance of the rivers, the history of the rivers. I mean, that river is dirty because it's got history, and so do something like that and really make it happen. And Friends of the Moshassuck is even a more low-key group than Save Morley Field, but that's because we've always said we're not going to usurp other people's neighborhoods. So if there's ever a group this side of the Pawtucket line, I live just the other side of the line, we want you to take over, running Friends of the Moshassuck in Pawtucket, because, and that's a permanent kind of thing, and change our group as well. We're just a bunch of old folks who don't, just doing this in the neighborhood and, expand out by including more neighborhoods with the people who live in them. And that's what this model is I've tried to do a lot of work on this, but I've really said, I'm not the leader of this. I don't want to be because I don't live in Pawtucket. We need this to be done by the people of Pawtucket.
Yeah.
And so I can do a lot as a watershed steward, but the real people who are going to do this are the people who live in that neighborhood. And that is the most important constituency, and people like me, we do this and we fight about this stuff until we can get enough space and hold off the government and the rich folks doing bad enough stuff. We can hold them off long enough for the community to get involved, because it takes that long to build that momentum. And so, and I've done this before because I've lived places where they tried to put a nuclear waste dump. So I know about this and how it works. And this is important. You know, you start with your parks, because the most important thing we're going to need in the next 50 years is climate justice.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
this park is how Pawtucket starts its climate justice. Providence has an actual climate justice plan. You know, the guys in Pawtucket, I'm hoping that you will take that and go with it as a model. And you know, these kinds of parks, you know, you just got to protect them, because otherwise there's no green space.
Thank you very much, Frank. So Leo is a state rep. Okay, so if you guys don't know, all right. So she just wanted to offer some services.
So one of the things I like to do, I'm very handy when it comes to computers, and I'm also a Spanish speaker. I'm native Spanish speaker. So what I'm offering to do is putting together a website so that we have all the resources in one place. Already do it in Creole. I'm willing to do everything in Spanish, translate any documents so that our communities have a place to go in terms of accessing. We can use that as a tool to share. So I'm offering to help in terms of that end. So any documents that there are, Clovis is going to send it to me so that I can start working on translation and helping out in that end. And like I said, in terms of also putting out graphics, because we also have to think for folks who may not be able to read and write. So in terms of making it visually pleasant and making sure that there's infographics and information so that it is accessible for folks who may have a disability and may not be able to access the material if it's, you know, a long document. So I'm going to work with Clovis to make sure we translate that into something that's a little bit more appropriate, and have a web presence so that we can share resources and information there. So thank you guys. Just wanted to
Thank you, Leo. Just last thing.
So my name's Ben. I live down the street. I just wanted to respond to something that Representative Felix raised a few minutes ago, and that is, what could we do right now to protect Morley Field? Because the thing is, they're not going to succeed in paving over Morley Field, because we're going to stop them.
We are, yes.
Because we know that our communities want parks, not parking lots. And so Representative Felix was saying, what could we do right now? One thing we could do is everyone can pull out your phone and you can call our wonderful mayor, Don Grebian. And his number is 401-728-0500, extension 281. That is 401. Everybody get out your phone. 401-728-0500, extension 281. And we could all call Don Grebian and just leave a polite message saying, we're going to save Morley Field. Don't think you're able to pave it over. We want a park, not a parking lot. That's something we could do today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, every day.
Thank you.
From Providence?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, yes. The park belongs to everybody. It's not just for Pawtucket residents. If you're a Rhode Island resident, it's there. All right. So before I let some of our congressional folks who made the time to come here just say a little something, I just want to say thank you all for coming. And what we're envisioning is to have Morley Field completely and totally rehabilitated and make it better than it even was. And also with the Moshasek, maybe do some sort of path where maybe folks can walk around the river, that kind of stuff, and just kind of have some fun over there. So we got the room. There's tons of money, and so this is what we're hoping for. Maybe even if those folks there who purchased our one Moshasek, who wants to turn it into a polluting truck last mile distribution center, decide to pack up because they can't get Morley Field. Because that's a big part of the reason why they want Morley Field is to save money, because our place is highly contaminated. They got all that crap sitting over there. They want to use Morley Field to bury it and pave it to save money. That's the only reason. They don't need the space. They have tons of space. Yeah, so just to make that clear. So maybe they'll pack up and leave if they can't get Morley. we'll be looking through the city and the RIDM, turn the entire place into a green space, because that's what we really envision.
Yes.
All right?
Senator Quesada.
Senator Quesada.
Wow. Really? I just wanted to say thank you, each one of you, for being here this afternoon. That's what it makes the community. People getting together. And see, we don't get together and call Mayor Graven, making sure that he knows that we're going to stop him to doing what he wanted to do. But he needs to listen. One of the things that she said, the community needs to be together. We need to make sure that everybody who lives in this neighborhood is aware of what's going on. They can bring their voice. They can translate every information because nobody knew about it. And that's why they were able to buy that quarter-acre of land, because nobody knew what they were doing. Then we just have to make sure that we are together, that we're going to fight for this, that we will not allow them to do what they're planning to do. And there's 12 people running for Congress today, no? And we are saying that we want to save the planet, that we against all this making a parking lot out of green space in Pawtucket, and we're going to allow that to happen? No way. And you can count that this is something I pledge you today as a state senator or as a Congress that I hope everybody need to get out and vote September 5th. Please, our people of color, go out and vote. It's important for us to understand how important it is to vote. You can vote now. You can do it by requesting a mail to your home. Now it's late for that, but they can get an emergency ballot to you. It's a lot of ways to vote. We need to understand how important it is for people of color to come out and vote. We cannot stand for another rich guy to go to Washington. Come on, we need regular people who fight for them, who are going to represent you, who are going to fight for you, not rich people, because we had enough of those already in Washington. We cannot send another rich guy to Washington to talk for you, to talk for me. Thank you. And I hope September 5th you vote for Senator Quesada for Congress. Thank you.
And now we have the congressional candidate, Aaron Rodenberg. Would you please come and say a few things? Thank you so much for coming.
I don't have much to add to what community members here have already said. I'm just incredibly inspired and grateful for the work that neighbors are doing. I mean, this is what community power is about, and you're winning, right? I mean, you're taking on the machine and you're winning, and you're gonna win. And we know it's about recreation, but it's not just recreation. It's about the environment, but it's not just the environment. It's about open space, but it's not open space. It's about justice, right? This is about justice, and the community's coming together to demand justice. And I'm incredibly grateful to all of you for engaging in this fight. And we'll do whatever we can to keep supporting it. Thank you so much.
Please vote September 5th. Early voting is in place at the City Hall, wherever you are. You got the candidates here. If you want to ask them something, please do. Anybody else want to say anything or comment? Yeah. So please, if you have just sign the paperwork, give your information so we can do the listserv, follow up with how things are going to go from here. Again, thank you all very much for coming.